Hey guys, so I'm excited. We are going to do a 3 or maybe 4-part series, experimenting a little bit here. So I am going to do something I've never done, so you get to experience right along with me. I have a pack of alcohol markers, alright? So big old pack of different colored alcohol markers is what I have going. And they're two-sided. I don't know if I've used them on a tutorial yet or not. I don't remember. But anyway, alcohol markers are alcohol based. And I have 2 types of paper with me. I've got just regular old plain white copy paper. And then I have more of an artist canvasy paper, much thicker, almost like watercolor kind of base-ish. Okay. So, because we're going to be doing about 4 parts, or 4 series, I have ideas for at least 3, and it may roll into 4. But what I want to do, we're going to jump right in, because why not get us rolling? I'm just going to make some art on this piece of paper, essentially, okay? Nothing like crazy fancy. Not overly, like, I'm not an artist as far as being able to draw well or so forth. This is just free-flowing kind of thing, right? Now, alcohol markers do tend to spread as they go down, especially because we have thicker paper, so it's gonna kind of spread itself out, and that's fine. I want to do a little more than this. I want a little bit bigger area, because we are going kind of abstract, so I'm just, like I said, just gonna add some color, so forth. Alright, so that was violet. Maybe I should keep these out so that these are dual-sided, so you have a real bold or broad stroke, or you have the fine. For what I'm doing here, I definitely want the fine, just because it's gonna do what we want better than the broad is. So, like I said, not anything crazy. I might need a little bit bigger area too on this paper. Just trying to get and fill in. My idea is to fill in as much color as I can in the space that I'm going to use, because I don't want as much white. I want more of the color. Let's get a blue in here. Oh, I'm just going to do some polka dots. That's a real deep blue too. Goodness gracious. That's okay. Let's bring some to the edge, because we might use some of that edge. It's not going to take much, so I don't need like this whole sheet covered. And where we'll do a few different versions of the similar concept, I'll just use the same piece of paper. I won't have to get another piece of paper, essentially. We'll see what happens. It's a funky color. I thought it was going to be more pinky, but it's more orange to me. Maybe it's the lighting, but it looks very orangey. We'll get some green in here as well. But first we'll add more pink. Just very random. We'll see how it turns out. Just kind of all over the board with it, but that's okay. Let's get this vivid. This one's called Vivid Pink. Let's see what it has to do for itself. Just filling in extra space. No particular shape on this one. Just trying to fill in. Like I said, we're going to add some greens in here too, so it's going to get filled in really nice. I really like this pink. I remember that. I like the vivid pink. This will probably be the long part of this process, but that's okay. Oh, let's get some yellow in here too. It's a pale yellow, so I don't know. Might be too pale. I'm just going to do little polka dots of the yellow. So there's like a splash of yellow. We'll get more maybe of like a, this one says fresh green, but it looks yellow to me on the marker part, but it looks very orangey on the paper. That's okay. That's all right. I don't like the abstractness of this. It's come along good. Okay. Let's see here. Let's do a vivid green. I like that vivid pink. So, more than anything, just fill in some spacing. Trying to not overlap where we've already been. It may bleed a little bit with what we're going to do with the resin, and that's part of the experiment, is to see how this does. So we'll just see. You know, it's one of those. When you're experimenting, you just don't know what's going to happen. And that's okay. Kind of like a science project. Brings the science part into the craft. But don't get scared. It's just all about having fun. Alright. But if you're like me and you like math and science and art, then resin is a great craft for those things. Okay, I'm liking that. Let's add some of this carabine blue in. So it looks like a pretty blue to do some splashes of color in our gaps. Might end up with green with that overlapping with the yellow, but that's okay. Because we're going to add a little more green. I just saw this and I was like, oh, I want some of that in there. Okay, a little bit more green, and then I think we're going to be pretty well golden. Okay, so this is a pale green. So it just gives us a little bit more green color in here. This reminds me of limes, and it almost made me just smell like that lime smell. It's funny. I'm certain these are not scented markers, but it gave me that feeling a little bit. Alrighty, I like that. There's not a ton of white in there, a lot of color. It's very abstract, so it's not uniform. It gives us quite a variety. And I'm just putting my markers away because I do have them in number order. And so I try to keep that way. A little OCD-ness there. Okay. So, we're going to move this out of our way. Bring our little UV resin tray. And this is going to be the UV mold that I'm going to use. I like lost that train of thought. It's a little, as my kiddos would say, a little crusty and dusty and musty. It's a little dirty. So we're just going to use a little bit of masking tape. And we're going to just tap this into the part of the mold pieces that I'm going to use. I haven't decided. I think I'm going to use these two little ones right here. I think they're going to be my best one. So that's what we're going to go with. Okay, that's on the bottom side. Perfect. Okay, so this is on our top side. We're not really worried about the underside, but you just want to make sure you have all the like loose particles, glitter, or any dust, or any leftover resin out of there. So, perfect. So we're going to do this a couple different ways. Oh, I shouldn't have put the markers. Well, I didn't zip them, but I forgot we got copy paper. We're going to do the same thing. So this may end up in a 6-parter, just based on timing. We'll see. So for the first way that I'm going to do this, we're going to put some UV resin in here. This is just a Let's Resin, UV resin, high viscosity, UV resin. I mean, there's nothing more about it. And I made a mess of it. That's okay. And on this version, I am going to fill the mold just to the top, almost. Like, almost get it to the top. And I see some bubbles trying to pop and form on us, which we do not want. So we just have a little ladder here. And, oh, got a little close there. I think I have, the AC is on, and the way the vent is, it's like blowing my flame, so it's not being very controlled. And I still see a little bubble section right here that is just trying to be persnickety. And I see one over here trying to be. So this is silicone brush, so I'm not worried about ruining my mold if I scrape the edges and get those little pesky bubbles out of there. I am going to just wipe off this top here because I ended up with some resin strings, almost like if you were working with hot glue and you end up with some of the stringiness of it. So I want to get that out of there. I do have my UV resin dogs. I'm going to send them upstairs. Let me see your flavors, I think. Alright, I'm going to put that on for 2 minutes. I'm going to pause you, deal with these doggos, and I'll be right back. Okay, so back there to the room. Alrighty, so nice thing about that interruption was this cured up. Bad thing about, I see that this one is missing around the earring hole. So I'm going to put one more really thin layer to fill that up. Should check that. And because I just really want the layer to be even, I am going to spread it around the whole thing. Same thing on this one. I don't know if maybe it was there and I just moved it when I was cleaning up the mold. I don't know. But everything is fixable. So we will get it. Some little persnickety little bubbles tonight. Why are y'all being such a bubbly mess? Alright, it's gonna be as good as it gets. So let's slide this tray back in. What I was saying before the dogs decided to be rude is this is a Let's Resin lamp, and it is top and bottom, but I don't think my top and bottom are connected. But we really only need the top on this. Alright, so I paused you again because I swear, I get everybody situated and then they still need mom somehow. I'm like, y'all, the dogs I had situated, and they go crazy. The kids I had situated, and they interrupt. Like, I told y'all I'm recording. So, it's not a full 2 minutes. If you notice, that's why, because I paused it again. Alright, so this is a dual front and, or top and bottom curing Let's Resin light. I don't know why my tray is being so persnickety. It used to be so tight in it, and now it's like falling out. But anyway, where we're doing clear resin, I know the 2 minutes is more than enough. I know that that's not going to be an issue. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pop these out. And I know, aren't they stunning as a clear earring? Yep, yep, yep. Don't mind it. Alright. I'm just using my fingernail to clean up some of the edging. Not a big deal. Just giving us a good surface to work with. Okay. And then, this is what we're going to do. We are going to find a spot on here, on this piece that we colored, that we like, and we're going to basically trace our piece and then cut it out. Which, I mean, I'm just going to kind of wing it. I like it. We're going to roll with it, okay? I'm going to use the edge of the paper to our edge over here, just so that I only have to cut 3 sides instead of 4. And I'm going to note that I probably am going to cut a little bit to the inside of the line. 1, so we don't end up with our line, but 2, I want to give it plenty of, what do I want to say? Yeah, I don't want to end up with the line. I don't want to end up with overhang of the paper. Now, we are going to use another piece, and while I have this one built, because of the way we're going to do the other kind, I need to trace a setup for it as well. So I'm going to truthfully trace 4 is what I'm going to do. And I'm just, again, well, that line's going to be in there. That's fine. This is an experiment, so nobody's going to know, right? But us. Okay. Just kind of going off of where we already were. And that's what we're going to do. Just using that line. It works. I'm staggering these just to help save where we are on the paper. Of course, it is a really small piece, so it's working with very fine area. Oh, I like that one with the bright purple in it. That's pretty cool. Alright. Let's see. Yep. Okay, that's going to give us a basis. I do have some good scissors here. I should have just worked off of 2 edges, but no, you know, want to make it somewhat easier. And they're not perfectly straight across, so I'm just going to do my best. Going right. This one seems more straight across. This paper is super thick. Hopefully, what I'm wanting to do works out. Let's see. So the only difference here is we do have to take a little bit extra just to take out our line so that one of our pieces doesn't end up with the line, which is fine. You just gotta work that a little bit. Okay, sweet. I like those. I hope that works because I'm wondering now if both pieces, okay, the same. So that definitely works. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. There's a little I don't know what I want to call it. A little playing of the shape that was thrown at me. I think I'm gonna do those two together and these two together. Okay. So for ease sake, I am going to pop these just gently back into our mold, just so that I have a solid surface to work on and so I don't have to use a tape to hold those down or putty or anything. And these two little pieces, I'm just going to put it off to the side in a little cup that I have here. You've seen me use these for mixing resins and colorants. I use them probably in every tutorial. Alright, so our cured resin is already in here, right? So for this one, we are going to is that what I want to do? Yeah. We are going to put a very, very thin layer of resin on top. Like as thin as you can be, but giving resin, okay? Now we will have to drill holes because we are going to be covering up our earring hole with our paper, and that's fine. Now, when we cure these, I definitely will need the underside of the light working because guess what? I need to be able to have this cure for the bottom. So with this, you just got to make sure your prongs are connecting to your prongs. Let's see. Oh yeah, now our bottom light is curing, but I still can't believe. Oh, maybe I'm not going in both sides. Okay, cool. So we're gonna let that cure for 2 minutes, and then we're gonna try those, and then we're gonna see if it works. Okay. So for the next part, I just want a smidge of water. So I do keep a spray bottle of water on hand so that we can look at that. I almost want to see if I can just peel some of the white paper off without taking the colorant off. Again, this may or may not work. We don't know. We shall see. It is an experiment because of that. You know, we just have to see how it goes. One of those. And basically, we're going to try to peel it off, and then we're going to do another version of it, and then we're going to do the same setup with the copy paper to see if the copy paper does better or the hard cardstock. And then we'll use some other mediums besides the alcohol markers to do similar things and see which one we end up liking the best, or if they all have their own unique, you know, setup. I don't know. They might all come out just beautifully and we're going to be like, oh, this is the new thing. I don't know. We shall see. See, I know the coloring felt like forever, but this part feels like forever for me. I'm like, come on. 2 minutes. So this being that double light, it's giving the UV light from both the bottom and the top. In this situation, we needed the bottom because that's really where the resin is on the bottom. It looks pretty cool. I'm digging the look right now. It's looking pretty neat. Okay, so that resin is cured. So I'm not worried about ruining the resin with water. It's not going to affect it. Now the alcohol ink may get a little bit tricky. So basically like a temporary tattoo, but the temporary tattoo would peel when we add the water. I'm adding, like you saw, just a spritz of water to try to rub this back layer off. Now I am coming on to color, so I don't know how much more I want to get aggressive wise with peeling, because I don't want us to lose our color. Well, that might be where I want to stop. Let me just make sure that we get pretty even. Oh, there's another little layer that came off of it. That's actually really pretty. Back side of it's really pretty. I may regret that I kept going, but I'm trying to get it as even as possible. And then we're going to have to put some heat on it to dry that out from the water so that we can put a sealant. This one had a little more time to let the water sit, which is great to an aspect, but then to another point it was maybe not so great because it's trying to take several layers off at once, and slow and steady on this wins the race for sure, because you don't want to take too much off. And I was a little worried maybe this corner didn't seal to the resin piece, and therefore I was trying to take off everything, but I think we did okay. This feels very strange, and I don't know why it feels that way. Actually, I think I do know why, and I might kind of like this. Hang on. Let me see here. What I'm thinking is what I'm thinking. Oh no, okay. I think it's just the resin underneath wasn't flat. Okay. Yeah, that's definitely what happened, because I can see it when I look through it, but that's okay. So that is going to be something we have to kind of work out, is just making sure that we get the resin fully flat. There's a little lip here, so I'm just going to use my scissors to trim that lip off. And a little bit of one on the bottom. That'll just help us with cleanup of the piece going forward. Oh, these look really cute and abstracty. I am loving them. I think actually this one I could take a little bit more off. If I could. For a second I was thinking maybe the rubbing alcohol, goodness gracious, the alcohol marker just like stained the resin and that we got it all where we needed, but and that all the paper came off, which was be kind of wild, but there is still a very thin layer of paper on those. Okay, so let's blast these with a smidge of heat. And heat, I just mean with a little air gun, heat gun, air gun, whatever you want to call it, just to help dry those out. And then we'll give them a few minutes before we actually put another layer on top of the resin to give them the finished look. And then we'll decide which side we like better, because truthfully, who knows? Who knows? So now we're seeing that this one definitely has paper. We're seeing the white now more. So we know we're getting them dry. And I'm just back and forth with it because it is hot. One, I don't want to burn my fingers. Two, don't want to melt the mold, kind of thing. Just give them a little blast to help dry that out. Looks really good, actually. They're very, very warm. So I'm going to hang tight for just a moment, see if they can cool off now. Like, blow on them, cool them off. And then we'll put a thin layer of resin on top, cure that, and then we'll pop them out and see what they look like. And see what we like. And we'll go from there. I'm excited. So
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Oh, that scared the living snot out of me. That was Alexa. But thank you. We didn't need your help. I guess me saying I was excited, she thought she needed help. Alright. My silicone brush. How in the world, in such a small space, did I lose my silicone brush? Oh, no? Well, here's the good news, is I have others. It's not as fancy. I thought maybe it was when my daughter interrupted, but I'm not, not seeing it over there. What's the weirdest thing? And it's a pretty one. It has stones in it. It's just pink. So it's weird. And that one has the fine tip on it, which is what I wanted. This one doesn't have a fine tip, so I'm going to grab a different one that has a fine tip. I'm going to grab one of these ones. It's got a nice tip on it. Oh, I found my pink one. It's on the floor. How it ended up down there, I don't know. But anywho, here it is. And it's got this beautiful tip here. So I'm going to just take a little bit from the cup that I put the resin in and put it on my silicone brush and just brush it on the back. Reason for that is it's going to give me a more precise coverage opposed to just going directly from the container, and it allows me to control where that's going onto the piece and help avoid any extra little hiccups. So, and that worked out perfectly. I think I had plenty, and truthfully this side is pretty darn cute now that I'm seeing the resin on it. So we'll see. We see what we like. I'll just have to say which side is prettier. And I'm going to let this one kind of sit too for just a couple extra moments, just like that one's had time to absorb the resin into the paper, because what it's doing is helping make that paper be more transparent and not so white, and we're getting more of the pop of color, which is really cute. We'll see what the other side looks like. Okay, so this resin, there's still resin in here. If I were to leave it to where the lamp could get to it, it's going to cure up in the cup. So I've moved it to the side. I've blocked it so the light is not going to get there. Hope y'all can see that. I hope the camera focuses for that. But we'll get a close-up soon. Let's put this tray in and go ahead and give it a good 2 minutes to seal up. Eek! We're so excited. Oh, I better not do that because we know what happened. Oh, it's gonna look so good. Gonna look so good. Okay. Then. Just thinking. Don't mind me, y'all. Just thinking. Oh, these are gonna be so pretty. I should have maybe went over them with the lighter. See a bubble or two, but I'm gonna just hope that they kind of blend in and that the eye of the artist sees them, but the average person wouldn't even notice them, you know? We fret over these bubbles as resin artists so much that I kind of wonder that people probably don't even Don't even notice. These little pieces of paper on our tray there. Just take this off. Ink. I can't wait to show you all these. I'm going to stand up so that I can see when I bring these out what they look like. So we can see if they're gonna, how they're gonna look. I swear, one of these times I'm gonna time it. I'm gonna see if it's really 2 minutes. It probably is. It's just my own issues with waiting. Okay. So, look at those. That is pretty. I really like those. I think that looks really cute. It's super solid. It's a little scuffed up in areas, so I probably need to like buff them down and then put one more coat on, is my thinking. And then there's this side, which is unique too. But I really do, ironically, I think I prefer this side of them. Like, I guess you could. Nah, I was just thinking out loud. I really prefer this side of them as an earring, personally. Okay, so we do need to scuff those up a little bit and do another layer. But let's at least get this next round done. So if we need to do cleanup on it, we can do cleanup as a whole, opposed to just individually. So with this round, I'm going to fill both of these molds. There is a humongous bubble on the bottom of that one. We're hoping it's going to come up. It looks like it might try to, which is good. And I'm going to make sure that I get around our earring hole here. And I want these filled as far up to the top as I can without them overflowing. Okay, so we're just trying to get them as far up to the top as we can. Now you can see definitely some bubbles here. Maybe you can't see though because it is far away, I realize. But we definitely got some bubbles there, so we'll work on that. Now I'm wiping off my silicone brush onto just a paper towel when I pull those bubbles out, because if I go back in with it while I still have the resin that has the bubble in it, you're likely to just transfer it right back in. So kind of silly. You don't want to do that. My tip ended up with some cured resin on it. There's like this trio chain of bubbles right here. I'm supposed to get y'all out of there. I think they're close enough to the edge. We're good. Okay. There's a big bubble right down here at the very, very bottom, of course. The fear of going to the very bottom to get it is that now we create more bubbles on the surface. But it is moving up. Come on. Keep coming. You too, a little better. My trio over here. Okay. Now, since I have a little bit extra in this cup over here, and I don't want to add a ton to these molds, because they're pretty darn full, but I want to make sure they're full. I'm just putting a little bit on my silicone brush and bringing it close enough to the other UV resin, and it's going to pull itself into it. It's combining it in to the mold resin, which is what we want. Perfect. Okay. So now, rather than, you'll remember we cured it the last time, right on up. But this time, we are going to put our piece of paper on before we've even cured. And we're going to see how this option works. Now I do want the resin to, doesn't have to cover the back side of it, but I do want the resin to be touching all of the paper. And it doesn't quite fit in the mold, which is fine. I just want to make sure that we've made contact with the resin and that we're gonna stay in there. And this one's wanting to sink where it does fit at the bottom. So we're gonna move sort of quickly and we're going to cure that up. Okay, let's see, we're at 41:04. It was probably 41 minutes when I hit start on that. Let's see if we end up approximately 2 minutes or if it's a little bit longer. Well, maybe it surprises me and it's less, but I highly doubt that it's going to do that. Don't mind me just getting a sip of water. Alrighty. These came out really pretty. It's hard to tell because that UV light's going, but they're really pretty. There's some cleanup to be done, but I do like the concept of that. And I'm thinking on a bigger scale how pretty that could really be. I don't know exactly. I don't know. We'll play with this one a little longer. You know, it's one of those that, like, I gotta play with it a smidge more for me to determine how we're gonna do. I said it was 41:04. Goodness gracious. Okay. It probably is 2 minutes. I'm just antsy, apparently. I don't have patience for this part. I'm like, let's roll. Let's go. We got places to be, things to do, places to be. So I'm probably going to put these. Let's think how I want to identify and keep these separate so that we know. We'll think about that. Okay, so yep, that was 2 minutes, y'all. 2 minutes. I'm just too darn antsy, apparently. Okay. So I see the flaw with that. And it feels like they're still a little squishy. So I'm just going to take them out. I'm going to show you the flaws I see with this way that we went. Oh yeah, they need to cure a little bit longer. But, whoops. Do you see this big bubble in there? And this family of bubbles in there. So that did not work out very well because now we have a load of bubbles in there. I am going to go ahead and cure them. And I noticed that the alcohol markers bled a lot more than they did on those. So I like that way for sure. I mean, if you're going for this look, that's cool. I'm not saying that that's bad. It's just my thinking on it is this first way gave us a cleaner look for sure. Okay, so let's find how I am going to keep these separate and labeled that the what is what, so that when we come back and we say, hey, this is what we did, we know. And I think I see. I'm going to grab some little jewelry baggies. I was hoping to not have to move this kind of stuff, but it's not a ton. see them. So just get to them. And I might be able to do it this way. Let's see. Skinny fingers. Oh yeah, skinny fingers worked. Okay. Don't mind me. Alright. Scrape my finger, but it's all good. Alrighty, so let's label this. So I have a little baggie. It's kind of hard to see. I'm going to put some masking tape on it, and I'm going to label marker, marker, resin, hardened first, then rub paper. That's probably more than the description that we need. Oh, we should probably put this as thick paper. Okay, so that we know that that's the thick paper where we rubbed it off. That way, because here's the thing, we all know that I'm not going to be able to do back-to-back tutorials and keep track. So it's going to be a little bit confusing if I don't do it that way. So yeah, we're going to do it like that. So these are much better now. They do need to have a coat of resin on the back side of them so that we can seal that paper in there. So before I do that, I don't even know which cup had resin in it. Wow. Oh, it's right here. Yep. It's getting late, y'all. That was probably way too much. I wish I could, like, suck it back up in there. Might have worked. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. Let's move that out of my way for a minute. I should have used the other side, but that's okay. We're just a mess. We'll see. This might look cooler on this side. So we'll see if it can absorb enough. You know, I don't know if the paper where we didn't rub it off, if it's going to be able to absorb enough to bring the color. So we might give that just a minute to see if it does, because it might. It's coming up more and more the more we wait. It's kind of cool. I'm like, but how long do we wait to see if it comes all the way through, or I don't know if this is doing anything by me, like circling the resin in. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, I made myself bleed, y'all. Scrape my finger and made myself bleed. Okay. It's not changing a ton, or hasn't changed a ton, so I'm just going to cure that up. It's fine. And we'll let that ride out. Okay. Now let's write another one with our masking tape. I did too big of a piece, but that's okay. Marker, thick, paper, added while resin is wet. Perfect. That way we know which is which. So the lid does come off on this. And I think what I'll do, I'm going to do it off camera just so that I don't UV light my resin. But basically I'm just going to transfer that extra back in here into the bottle. It's not a ton, but it's enough that I don't want to be wasting it. So I think it's probably one of those earring worth. And not a pair of earrings. It's literally one side of an earring worth. But you know me. Don't waste our resin. It's precious resin. It's expensive resin. Although these ones aren't bad. I get 2 bottles on our subscribe and save. And I signed up for like every few months because I wasn't sure how often I would need it. But it goes for so long that honestly I've only ever, like this is my 3rd bottle and I have my 4th bottle to spare. They come in a pack of 2. I don't think this tells how many fluid ounces or, oh, it's 100 grams, which means absolutely nothing to me, just so y'all know. All I know is that I just use it on products and we see how far it gets. So those are cute on the back side. I mean, definitely cute, but they don't have the color that I would want. I love the color on this side. Do not love how that bubble came in, or that big ol' fat bubble on the bottom of this one. Jeez, with like a little bubble on top of it. Goodness. So yeah, so we'll put that in this baggie so that we know what that is. And then for next week's episode, for the 2nd episode, we'll do the copy paper with the markers and see what they do. And we'll do it both ways, where we put the resin in, cure it, add our paper art, rub some of the back off, cure that up, so forth. And then we'll do it where we put it directly in. On the directly in ones, I may trim them just a little bit smaller just to see if we can't get a better seal on that. Just to try to get that just a smidge less likely to end up with a bubble. And if it'll work, we'll try it then, right? It's an experiment. So, hope you are liking the series thus far. Stay tuned because we will do different mediums using similar technique and see which ones we like better. Alright, we'll see you guys again soon. Bye.